My sister-in-law, now mute and bedridden, was entrusted to my care by my in-laws, who had decided to take a vacation in Hawaii. Just before departing, my husband Jack made it clear that taking care of her was my responsibility, emphasizing that I shouldn't slack off. As soon as Jack and his family left for their vacation, my sister-in-law, surprisingly, sat up and suggested that we get going too. My name is Lisa, and at 29, I had abandoned my teenage dream of becoming a pop star, realizing its fleeting nature. I ended up in my late 20s, dating Jack, whom I met through a friend, largely due to my mother's persistent desire to see her grandchild. Jack, despite having once aspired to enter the entertainment industry, now worked at a prestigious trading company in downtown Manhattan. After college, I had worked at a bank until I got married, at which point I quit my job. On a visit to Jack's parents' house, I learned about his younger sister Lucy, who, as a child, had contracted encephalitis from influenza, leaving her mute and bedridden due to brain damage. Lucy's mother had primarily cared for her, but surprisingly, Lucy and I got along well, communicating through sign language. Over time, I naturally picked up sign language, and our bond strengthened. Despite this, my mother-in-law, who was quite different from Lucy, was consistently sarcastic and critical of me. Jack and I lived in a condo about 30 minutes away, yet my mother-in-law would occasionally show up unannounced, nitpicking and issuing traditional instructions like keeping Jack's shoes clean and neatly folding laundry. She referred to Jack as Jackie and insisted on outdated practices, such as not going to bed before him, regardless of how late he got home. During our dating and early marriage days, Jack had always been kind and never disagreed with me, despite his mother's influence. Initially, Jack was incredibly considerate. If I mentioned feeling unwell and suggested having dinner outside, he readily agreed. Likewise, if I expressed interest in a designer bag, he would purchase it for me the following month. However, approximately a year into our marriage, Jack began to change, or perhaps reverted to his former self. He started coming home late from work, consistently smelling of alcohol. On weekends, Jack claimed increasing work responsibilities, making him too busy for family time. Oddly, even during visits to his parents' home, he would decline my invitations to join him. Frustrated, I decided to confront him about the growing distance between us. Jack, you've become so distant lately. It feels like you're a completely different person, I expressed. Jack glared briefly before dismissing my concerns. That's not true. You're overthinking things, he replied. Unconvinced, I pointed out that he rarely spoke to me anymore. He told me to stop bringing it up and walked away, ending the conversation abruptly. One Sunday, Jack surprised me by announcing he was going home. This was a departure from his usual refusal to have me accompany him on such visits. Eagerly, I offered to join him, expressing a desire to see Lucy as well. Jack's reaction was mixed, and he remarked on our seemingly close friendship. Despite his subtle grimace, I drove us to Jack's family home in Nebraska. Along the way, we stopped at a bakery to buy pastries as a gift. Jack's mother, who typically frowned at my presence, lit up upon receiving the pastries. When we arrived, she greeted us with a frown, as if displeased to see me. Undeterred, I handed her the pastries, and her expression changed like a child receiving a cherished toy. Curious about Jack's father, I inquired about him, learning he was out at a meeting. Jack's mother asked if I needed something, to which I replied that I didn't, just having something on my mind. He replied, I hadn't heard anything about this from Jack. What's going on? Did you have something to tell your father? I asked. Jack retorted, It's none of your business. What do you mean? We're a married couple, aren't we? Can you just stop nagging? His mother chimed in, Exactly. If Jack doesn't want to tell you something, you shouldn't be prying. Recognizing the futility of arguing, I chose not to respond. Just then, Jack's sister appeared. Oh, Jack, you're here, she said. Jack seized the opportunity, saying, Sis, perfect timing. I have something to discuss. She inquired. What is it? Jack proposed. I can take a long vacation next month. I was thinking about a family trip to Hawaii. How about you, sis? She replied, I'll pass. I don't have a passport. I was taken aback. Jack, usually busy with work, was suggesting a trip to Hawaii. Concerned, I asked, Jack, is everything all right with your job? His mother seemed displeased with my involvement and said, You shouldn't meddle with decisions Jack has made. You're really nosy, aren't you? Jack's mother then revealed the real reason for the meeting. I was to take care of Lucy during their vacation. Though momentarily surprised, I realized staying with Lucy was more appealing than going to Hawaii with my mother-in-law. I agreed to take care of Lucy, but I questioned why they had to bring me all the way there for such a discussion. Jack explained he expected resistance and wanted his mother to convince me forcefully if needed. Dumbfounded, I left the room to go to Lucy's room. Lucy was delighted to see me and asked how I'd been. When I explained Jack asked me to come along to their parents' house, Lucy remarked on Jack's change in behavior. Lucy suggested I stay over, and we had a great time chatting. An hour later, Jack came to get me, and we headed home. Lucy gave me a slight wink, hinting at a shocking truth and an even more shocking plan. A month later, on the day of the Hawaii trip, Jack and I went to his parents' house. Despite not going to Hawaii, I brought luggage to stay with Lucy for a week. As departure neared, the family insisted that taking care of Lucy was my job, and my mother-in-law added, Please get along well with Lucy. It's better for you to stay here, isn't it? If anything happens to Lucy, it's all your fault. Unfazed, I returned to Lucy's room. At that moment, Lucy sprang up energetically and called out, Come on, let's get going. This echoed a recent conversation where Lucy revealed she could walk and converse, a secret she had kept since last year. I suppose, why have you been hiding this from the rest of the family? Lucy began sharing an unexpected tale, saying, Actually, my father and mother are both remarried. I'm my dad's child from his previous marriage, and my sister and brother are from my mom's side. Surprised by this revelation, and considering the usual coldness from my mother-in-law towards Lucy, I couldn't help but think, I thought so. Is that so? Lucy confirmed, yeah, my mom despises me. And I didn't want to talk to her, so I pretended that I couldn't. Curious about her father's knowledge, I asked, And your father? Lucy explained, Dad knows everything. He's always on my side. Understanding the situation, I said, I see. That's why, regarding this trip to Hawaii, I'm thinking we should go too. Perplexed, I asked, what do you mean? Lucy explained, I mean I'm planning to go to Hawaii on the same day with you. We'll even stay at the same resort. Her proposal caught me completely off guard, and I responded, What? I'd be thrilled to go to Hawaii with you, Lucy. But do you even have a passport? Confidently, Lucy revealed, Of course. I secretly got my passport last month. And don't worry about the expenses. My dad is covering our plane tickets and the resort, including yours. Excited about the unexpected turn of events, I said. I see. I'm really looking forward to this. That's how we ended up at the airport, Lucy and I, arriving in Hawaii early in the morning. My father-in-law, who had been supportive, was there to see us off. Expressing gratitude, I said, Thank you, father-in-law. I feel guilty for all the plane tickets and resort fees you've covered. He reassured me, saying, Don't worry about it. As long as you two have fun, I'm happy. After landing, we took a taxi from the airport and checked into the resort hotel. Lucy and I were sharing a room, and as we settled in, I mentioned to Lucy, Your father seems pretty well traveled. Lucy shared, Yeah, he's been on several international business trips. He's even been to Hawaii a few times. Planning a surprise for Jack and the family, Lucy said, So what's the plan? I'm guessing my mom and everyone will dine at the restaurant here tonight. I'm thinking of surprising them. Excited about the idea, I replied, That sounds like fun. I'm excited. Should we get some rest to recover from jet lag? Lucy agreed. That sounds like a good idea. Unable to sleep on the plane, We took a shower, climbed into bed,